That cold case cracked nearly 15 years after a man was found dead in his home in Luzerne County. Authorities now say it was a family member who took his life, and they believe they have a pretty good idea why. Newswatch 16's Joe Kohut has been following the story. Joe.
Yes, Scott. Investigators believe money is the motive behind the 2011 murder of Jonathan Balester. Back then, Balester...
It's May 2011, and state police vehicles line Jonathan Balester's sleepy street near Shavertown. Inside, the 56-year-old was found dead with nearly 24 stab wounds in his back. What unfolded over the next decade and a half was not so much of a whodunit. Investigators always suspected Jonathan's cousin, Frederick Balester, but District Attorney Sam Sanguidolce says they didn't have the evidence to conclusively prove it. At least, not until recently. A discovery through re-examinations of autopsy photos of a previously unidentified injury on Jonathan Balester's body and work to figure out a motive helped bring about charges years later.
I know publicly sometimes it seems like we're not actively working cases, but that brought to the forefront with regularity, and thanks to recent breakthroughs and the hard work of Troop P, we were able to make an arrest today.
According to the criminal complaint, Jonathan Balester was the majority shareholder of the family business, Balester Optical, which came up for sale in 2009 and 2010. All the other shareholders approved of the sale, but Jonathan wouldn't vote yes, sinking a nearly $5 million offer from a competitor. State police learned that Jonathan's cousin, Frederick Balester, was a minority shareholder in the business and was angry at Jonathan's unwillingness to sell. When another offer was made in 2011, the family shareholders planned to meet about it on May 26th of that year. Jonathan never showed up. State police say Frederick Balester ended his cousin's life to ensure that he could not vote against the sale.
Putting together the many years of research that led to us finding a motive in this case is really something that, although not technically an element of the crime, juries always want to hear. And in this case, I think we have a pretty solid motive for the murders, thanks to the investigators involved.
Years later, state police say they were able to connect Frederick to Jonathan's killing by re-examining the evidence and discovering that Frederick's DNA was inside latex gloves found at the scene and that Jonathan had marks on his body from a stun gun. Investigators say the newly discovered marks were critical because they knew from earlier in the investigation that Frederick had bought a stun gun. The distance between the marks on Jonathan's body matched the distance between the electrodes on Frederick's stun gun.
That stun gun evidence is going to be a key part in this trial, and that was something that the investigators and lawyers noticed from photographs and actually had to revisit with the forensic pathologist. So we're happy that we found that evidence, and I think
Without Jonathan's vote, state police say the optical business was sold. State police say that Frederick took a payout, but they wouldn't say how much he cleared in the sale. Court records indicate that Frederick Balester doesn't yet have an attorney, and he's due back in court for a preliminary hearing in March and remains locked up without bail. Joe Kohut, Newswatch 16. Scott, back to you.
Joe, thanks very much.